All right, we are officially at the halfway point of the NBA season, and let's be real, the race for the championship is as wide open as it's ever been. So today, we're going to dig into what the experts are saying and see who really has the inside track to the title.
You know, the betting odds might tell you one story, but the experts, they see a league that's constantly changing. So the big question we're tackling is this. Based on everything we've seen so far, who is the real favorite to be crowned champion?
And what we've seen so far has been, well, pure volatility. I mean, just a few weeks ago, it felt like the Oklahoma City Thunder were just unstoppable. Now, they've cooled off a bit. Other teams have surged, others have faded. This constant shifting is exactly what makes trying to predict things right now so fascinating.
So let's start in the East, which our experts are basically calling a wide-open, gritty slugfest for that conference crown. Seriously, there is no clear-cut favorite over here at all.
So, get this. Our 5 experts are totally split. You've got 3 of them picking the Detroit Pistons to come out of the East, while the other 2 are backing the New York Knicks. It is a super tight race between 2 very, very different teams.
So yeah, that's a razor-thin 3-2 edge for the Pistons. So what's the logic here? What's the thinking behind these picks? Let's break down the arguments.
Okay, so the case for Detroit really boils down to 2 things, redemption and consistency. As expert John Gonzalez points out, they were literally a couple of lucky bounces away from knocking out the Knicks just last season. They've been the most steady ship in the East all year, and you could argue they have the best player in Cade Cunningham.
But on the flip side, the argument for the Knicks is that they're just the most complete package. Expert Sam Quinn puts it perfectly. Every team in the East has its flaws, but New York's tough, gritty defense, that's built for the playoffs. And that's a potential Achilles heel for a high-flying team like Detroit.
All right, now let's head over to the West. And here, there's a really strong feeling among our experts. Whichever team survives the absolute gauntlet of this conference, well, they're going to be the heavy favorite to win it all. This is where the real champion is forged.
And wouldn't you know it, just like in the East, the panel is divided on who that survivor is actually gonna be. The picks are split right down the middle between the reigning champs, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Denver Nuggets.
And there it is again, that razor-thin 3-2 margin. But this time, it's favoring the Denver Nuggets. So why? Why are the experts narrowly leaning towards the challenger over the team that's literally holding the belt right now?
I mean, this is a true clash of titans. For the Thunder, the case is pretty straightforward. They're the defending champs, and they'll probably have home court advantage. Simple. But the case for Denver? It's deeper. They almost beat OKC last year, they've arguably gotten better since then, and most importantly, this is the deepest, most talented roster Nikola Jokić has ever had around.
And expert Brad Botkin really zeroes in on Denver's star power. He thinks that with Jamal Murray looking like he's ready for a playoff takeover alongside Jokić, the Nuggets just have that extra gear needed to survive the West.
So we've got a toss-up in the East and an absolute showdown in the West. So when it all comes down to it, when the dust settles in the NBA Finals, who do the experts believe is going to be the last team standing?
All right, here they are, the final predictions. The matchups are locked in, the winners are chosen, and you know what? That pattern we saw in the Western Conference, it holds true right to the very, very end.
That's right. A 3-2 majority of our experts are picking the Denver Nuggets to win the 2026 NBA championship. They're predicting them to reclaim the throne from the reigning champs.
And this quote from John Gonzalez just seals the whole argument. It comes down to 2 simple things. First, having the best player on the planet in Nikola Jokić. And second, surrounding him with the deepest and most capable bench of his entire career. The prediction is simple. Denver hangs another banner. Okay, so when you really look at all of these predictions, they all kind of hinge on a few key variables. These are the X factors, the things that could ultimately swing the whole championship one way or the other. First, and this is the big one, health is everything. A guy like Jokić logs heavy minutes. An injury to him, or a key starter like Aaron Gordon, it would completely derail Denver's hopes. Then there's the gauntlet effect. The West is so ridiculously tough that whichever team makes it out alive will be so battle-tested, they'll likely be the favorite. Then you've got pure star power. In a 7-game series, guys like Cunningham, Brunson, and Jokić can just single-handedly take over and win you games. And finally, you have to ask, can teams like the Pistons, or even the Thunder, generate enough offense when playoff defenses inevitably clamp down? That's a huge question mark. So this gives us a fantastic snapshot of the league as it stands right now, but it leaves us with one final massive question. The trade deadline is right around the corner. One blockbuster deal could change absolutely everything. So, will these predictions even matter in a few weeks? Well, only time will tell.